Before we get started, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's watched and subscribed to my last video. I really appreciate it. I've been having a lot of fun making these redesigns, and I really wanted to keep doing more like this, so hopefully we can get to 500 subscribers. Today, I've redesigned the My Little Pony princesses as Monster High characters, each one inspired by a different monster and character. And honestly, I think these might be some of my favorite designs I've done so far. For Princess Luna, I based her off of Spectra, Vandergeist, and this was one of those designs that just kind of made sense with the color palette and the way they act in both My Little Pony and in Monster High. They both have this really calm, mysterious presence, and they're not loud characters. They're a lot more subtle, which I think translates really well into the ghost-inspired design. So instead of making her feel scary, I wanted her to feel more distant and elegant, like she's there but not fully grounded in the same space. Where Luna is a princess, but she's also the princess of the night, so she doesn't interact a lot with people. And Spectra comes from the ghost realm, so she's also struggling to interact with other monsters. This was kind of more at the beginning of Monster High that I'm basing it off of, not really the end. When I started working on her color palette, I leaned heavily into deep blues and purples, since these are already such a big part of Luna's identity. But I didn't want it to feel flat, so I added lighter colors, glowing tones, almost like the moonlight reflecting off of her. This contrast helps her with that more ethereal, glowing, ghost-like feeling. I also added some smaller star details throughout her hair, important to me because it ties her back to the night sky. Speaking of her hair, I really focused on making it feel weightless, like she's flying in the dream realm. It's not just styled, it almost feels like it's floating or drifting, like it doesn't really follow normal physics. For her outfit, I wanted something sleek but also layered, so I added some transparent elements and softer edges to mimic the ghostly effect, especially even though, as you can see, like on the right, you can see Spectra's design doesn't really have that, but I felt like when you're in the ghost realm, you get more of that glowing effect. For me, it was less about structure and more about flow for this. I also chose silver accents instead of gold because the gold felt too warm for her palette. Silver kept everything cool-toned and cohesive, and it matched the nighttime aesthetic a lot better. Even her pose and expression are more reserved. She's trying not to stand out, but still has a strong presence. Overall, I feel like she's someone who exists slightly outside of everything else, calm, observant, and controlled. Next up is Princess Celestia. I based her off of Headmistress Bloodgood, and this design was really more focused on presence and authority. They're both characters that don't need to prove anything, they already carry that natural sense of power. Celestia is the ruler of Equestria, and Headmistress Bloodgood founded Monster High. I didn't really want her to feel as intimidating as Headmistress Bloodgood does sometimes, but I wanted her to look more like authority, calm, controlled, almost in an effortless way. For her color palette, I stayed pretty true to the original colors, soft pinks, light blues, and gold, but I refined them a little bit. I toned them down slightly so they felt more mature and less playful. This helped shift her from feeling like a bright character to a more regal one. I also used gold as a strong accent throughout her design, because as you can see in Celestia's design, she has a lot of like golds for her crown, her neck wrapping, and like the sun, obviously. It's not just the smaller details, but in a way it frames parts of her outfits and draws attention to certain areas. It reinforces the sense of royalty and status. For her outfit, I went with more structured direction compared to Luna. There are sharper lines, more defined layers, and a stronger silhouette overall. I wanted her to feel more grounded and stable, like someone who has complete control over herself and her environment, since she's over 1,000 years old. I also pulled some inspiration from more formal wear, almost like a uniform, to connect back to the headmistress idea. Her hair is still the flowing magical quality like you see in the show, but it's more put together, where she has it up in a ponytail instead of just hanging down. It moves, but it doesn't feel chaotic. This was really important to me because Celestia is a character who always seems composed. Even the way she stands and holds herself reflects that. She doesn't need exaggerated movements or expressions to feel powerful. And overall, I feel like she's less like a typical Monster High character and more like a figure of authority placed in this world. For Princess Cadence, I based her off of CA Cupid. This one was probably the most fun in terms of design and personality. For basing her off of Cupid, I really wanted to lean more into her Monster High design, even though she has basically two designs, one from Monster High and one from Ever After High. But that can be a different video. If you guys are interested, let me know down in the comments. They both represent love, but I didn't want to go in the direction that felt too obvious or cliche. Instead of just focusing on hearts and pink, I tried to build a design that felt layered and expressive. For her color palette, pink was still the main focus because that's the primary colors for both Cadence and Cupid. But I added a lot more variation. I added some softer pastel tones, but also added some saturated pinks to give some contrast. That helps the design feel more dynamic instead of just flat. I also added accents of gold and teal, which helps break up the pinks, adding more of a visual interest. These extra colors make the design feel more balanced overall. For her outfit, I lean more to fashion and personality. There's a lot more going on compared to the others, like more accessories, more layering, and some smaller details. I also incorporated heart shapes all over her outfit. Like as you can see in her hair, I did little heart buns. I also added the Crystal Empire, the crystal heart on her shirt, just as a nod to her cutie mark and the original setting of Princess Cadence. There are a lot of hearts in her design, but some of them are more subtle than others, so they're not overpowering the design. Her hair was a huge part of this one too. I wanted it to feel big, soft, and almost cloud-like, more youthful than how she was portrayed in My Little Pony. I felt like it added a sense of warmth and softness, but it also gives her a strong silhouette, so she stands out immediately. But at the same time, I made sure her posture and expression still felt confident. I wanted her to feel like she knows who she is, and that confidence shows in how she presents herself. Overall, I feel like she's a character that represents love in a more balanced way, both gentle and strong at the same time. And those are my 3 princess redesigns, turning them into Monster High characters. I think each of these keeps the core of who they are, just translated in a completely different style. If you enjoyed this, make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps support the channel, especially since I'm trying to do this a lot more often. And I've got a lot more redesigns like this coming soon. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.